to welcome you all to this YES Alumni Webinar. We hold a webinar once a quarter. My name is Bethany, and I am the program manager for the YES program at Iron USA. And when we're running these webinars, we always ask for feedback about what things alumni would like to learn or what problems they're facing. And something that we often hear is that they want to do more volunteer projects, they want to help the community, but they don't have the funds to do it. And that's what gave us the idea for this webinar, which is about crowdfunding. We are very lucky to have YES alumnus Samiur Rahman from Bangladesh joining us today as the presenter. He encountered that same problem in Bangladesh. He wanted to do more and more community service projects, but he didn't have the funding for it. And so he turned to a new source called crowdfunding, and he raised over $1,000 with his campaign for his project. He's since then run other successful crowdfunding projects and has taught an alumnus in Sierra Leone how to run a campaign and helped him raise money for his project. And so today we are all lucky that we are going to get to learn from Samiur and hear his expertise about what we can do to have successful crowdfunding campaigns and then be able to fund more alumni projects. So I'm very excited to learn from him, and I hope that you all are too. If you are new to Adobe Connect, we have a couple of polls throughout the webinar, which we hope that you will answer for us so we can get to know you a little bit better. We also encourage you to write in the chat box, connect with each other, and definitely ask any questions that you have for Samiur in the chat box, and we'll make sure that he answers them at the end in a question and answer segment. I have started recording this webinar, so you can watch it again later or pass it on to other alumni. It will be available on the YES website under the Alumni Resources page. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Samiur and let him get started. I hope that you all enjoy this webinar.
Hello everyone, my name is Samiur Rahman and it's really nice to see all of you here. And today we are going to have a presentation about really cool stuff called crowdfunding. So I hope you can, all of you can hear me. Uh, so alright, if you have any trouble, do let me know in the chat box. And how about now? So basically, if you're ready, let's start about this. So basically, crowdfunding is a really cool process where we learn how to do a teamwork and basically we learn how to collect funds. If you have a project in mind right now and you don't know how to collect money, and maybe your our friends and neighbors are not able to help, how can we do something? So it's a teamwork to raise money for a project, but not for your personal, maybe a dream car. Don't do this if you have a personal thing to do. So let's see how it starts. Basically, the moral of the idea is crowdfunding is the medium where people learn about their idea. You share your idea to the whole world. It's not something which you spread to only your country. Maybe you live in Qatar or Bangladesh. It's about the whole universe is going to learn about your project. So basically, it can start anywhere you want. It can start in your local neighborhood, or maybe you want to make it big. You want to start it internationally just right now. So crowdfunding is basically can start anywhere you want. So what is the main idea behind this? So basically, suppose I'm gonna compare this to you. Suppose you're Bill, and Bill has an amazing project idea, but there's a catch. Bill doesn't know how to get a funding. Maybe he has enough money to just to plan the idea, but not how to kickstart it. So Bill has really cool friends. They're called Sadi and DB, and to kickstart the project, what Bill did is he started sharing the ideas. He started created a baseline of the project, and basically started looking funds right away. And in 2 months period time, they could understand how their idea is going to be. So let's see how they started the project and went away. So they asked, they included one of their another friend called Orgo. Or they like to call him OG, and their friend introduced them how crowdfunding worked, and especially in a website called GoFundMe.com. This is a website that is like heaven for crowdfunding. So Christmas came early in 2015 for them. Let's see what happens next. So basically, to get your desired funding, the Bill Sadi DB created an online crowdfunding platform so the whole world can help them. Basically, they had to spread the idea. So for them to do this, they needed a really large base. For us, for anyone who is a YES alumni, you have a huge base in your country. For us, for me, it was YES Alumni Bangladesh. For Bill, it was YES Alumni Bangladesh. And the second best place was their schools. School is the perfect place you can share your crowdfunding ideas. People love your ideas, and when people see that you're doing such a great project, suppose you're helping your community with food or for the shelter, or maybe you're helping earthquake victims, they're gonna love your idea. And school is the best place. So is the online. So in order to do your project, you want to introduce it first, right? Because if you don't introduce, how are people going to know about it? So the three best globally websites are GoFundMe, Kickstart, and IndieGoGo. If you want to have a project which is America, you want to target America, GoFundMe is the best. If you want to have a project where you want to get funds from all over the world, IndieGoGo is the best. And Kickstarter is basically a mixture of both. But Kickstarter has a little bit, it's a new one compared to the others. So let's see how it goes with others. So basically, this is a large scale operation, meaning the whole world is going to know about your project. So I'm going to introduce the most user friendly one. So basically, let's start with Indiegogo, and I'm going to tell you about GoFundMe next. So Indiegogo is a worldwide platform that is in America. Sorry, that is a worldwide platform, and it is the most easiest platform out there. Indiegogo is like it doesn't matter if you're American or if you live in America or not. You can start it anywhere you want, and it's an easy interactive platform. So right, if you want to start a project right now, you can use Indiegogo. But if you want to plan it out a bit, I would advise you to go for GoFundMe.com. This is an American-based US website, and since we're YES alumni, we have a huge crowd in America. We have our host family, friends, teachers. Basically, I would advise GoFundMe.com if you have your host family helping you out. So basically, if you use GoFundMe, make sure you have a great connection in US. Otherwise, I would advise you to go for Indiegogo. And I would give a very good example, like one of my friend Tamba used with GoFundMe later on. So let's see how Indiegogo works, right? So basically, if you want to do a project that's going to help others, community, and you're collecting money for not to make something, but to use it to give it to someone or make a large scale production, that is a cause. And a project is, suppose you want to make a machine that's going to help others. That is basically you want to use project. If you want to do a project right now, you have to understand there's a difference. So suppose what Bill used, our really good friend Bill, or I used, or Tamba used, was a cause. If you go for a cause, you, you basically you can introduce a project where you want to do it, how you want to do it, and who are you doing it for. So if you want to start with cause, I would click cause, and you can continue with it. So this is Indiegogo. Sorry, this is GoFundMe.com. Basically, GoFundMe, when we started it, our friend OG, he used his host family to open this account. you cannot open it in your country unless you're in America. So you need to take help from your family members in US or friends who you really trust. So basically, when you go open an account, this is how we start. This is how you'd look if you go to our project, which was called Project Ramadan 2015. You know how Ramadan is a Muslim festival, and it lasts for a month. And this is how we presented our project. This is how it started. So basically, if you want to show your project to the world, you want to give a lot of information, right? Because a person is not going to give you money just by writing, "I want money, give me money." That's not how it works. You want to show why you want to help. So basically, I'm going to show you a video how that is going to show you how you can present your project before starting and in the middle. So let's see how it goes.
আমার আমার পুরো নাম অনেক বড়, মোহাম্মদ মুস্তাসিম বিন মাসহারুল ইসলাম, অনেক বড় নাম, ঠিক আছে? আমার নাম মুস্তু। আমরা ঢাকা থেকে এসেছি। আমরা এখানে যে ভাই আপুরা আছি, আমরা ইয়েস অ্যালামনাই বাংলাদেশ নামে একটা সংস্থা থেকে এসেছি এবং আমরা এখানে এসেছি আপনাদের জন্য কিছু ঈদের খুশি দিতে, কিছু ঈদের খুশি ভাগ করে দিতে।
Guys, what do you think? This is an introduction to your project. This is not just an introduction. What you did, what you're trying to do, what you did, who are you working with? This video represents to the whole thing, like how your project is going to work. So basically, like how can you introduce better pictures? Pictures are the best. You can information. Remember something. If you pictures speak better than words. Videos, something that's moving or something that's more colorful speaks better than words. So if you only put words, that's not gonna introduce it. It's gonna be more creative. So this is the pictures we use in our project. So be creative. Like, what else can you go? Let me show you more pictures. Like, this is what we are doing with kids. This is what we want to do more. If you give us more funds, we can do it even bigger. There were 100 kids this time. We can make 1,000 next time. This is our target. So if you see, make it anti-boring. You don't want to make it boring. You don't people don't want to read a list of papers what you're going to do. If you can express five things in one paper or one picture, that is better than reading a lot of stuff, right? So don't bring anything political, argumentative, so that people do not question your ideas or they're so that suppose you don't want to make it really controversial. That why is he doing this and he's not supporting this? So don't bring something really not related to your project or any pictures related to your project here. And as I said, use fewer but more impactful words. If you make sure you say little, but whatever you say is more powerful than saying thousands of words. So just be creative. I'm pretty sure ES Alumni is a very big base where we are all creative. This is how we reached it so far. So why should people donate to you? So if you have a project, why should I give you money? You need That's the whole idea about this crowdfunding. So what will I get in return if I give you the money? This is this is a question we got from every donor who we got money. Even they're interested to give a large sum or small, doesn't matter. They're gonna ask you why should I give you money. So you need to make sure your project has a really good background with information, pictures, and resources. Like if you want to like find more places to get information from, so where should they go? So then you need to make sure there's a place where they contact, and you need to make sure there's no negative image or there will be any unnecessary stuff that's going to distract your audience or your funds from getting in. So remember the most important thing about crowdfunding. One bad relation with the donor is going to affect your whole presentation. Presentation means your fund, your project, your future project, and most importantly, yes, alumni. Yes is the biggest thing we have right now. You don't want to give it a bad impression because you didn't present your project really nice, or you had a bad relation with one donor. So make sure donor is always going to ask you this, and remember, you will always have to answer it and never give wrong information. So after that, you have to keep in mind about your donors. Suppose I give you $5 right here, right now, and then tomorrow you forget me. That is the most rudest thing I can ever expect. So you can never forget your donors, even if it's a year or a half a year or 2 years. You should always send them a mail, like how are you doing? This is what we did with our project. You show them what how each penny was used in the project. Right, because they're gonna expect they're really super excited for your project, and after like a few days, you don't want them to forget. This is not just for your project. This is basically how you're gonna deal with if you deal with life and everything else. So always keep them updated with your project and never go AWOL. And AWOL means not to go away, not to lose yourself from others. So let's continue something really cool. Let's make your project go big on social media. So if you have a project, you want people to know, and it's the 21st century. And how do you make it go big? It's social media, Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is the biggest source in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Qatar, everywhere. Twitter is the biggest thing in like modern countries like America or UK. These are the places where Twitter is used. So you need to use both of the two words. You cannot just use Facebook, expect it to go really, really big, right? So how do? You make an event page, you make a group page, you make chat box. Facebook is such a wonderful thing. You give updates, you give statuses and everything. Let me show you something. Remember Sadi, Bill's friend and project coordinator? This is how she used to update every donor and everyone. Like in the right, you can see that how she gave information, how 100 kids were helped and everything. And everyone needs to see it because they would never feel left out. And the left, you can see your donors asking questions like, how can I donate? Or are you going to guarantee my money is going to be used? Definitely, you have to guarantee. You're going to have to show how your his or her money is used. So suppose who's donating you halfway around the world is not going to come to you just to come to you physically to see how you're working. So you have to show him online. You have to show him virtually, right? So Facebook, Twitter. What we did was with Facebook, because our connections were really good with Facebook. This is what we showed. All right, let's move to something really cool about Tamba. He's a really cool friend of mine. He's from Sierra Leone, and I'm pretty sure he's here. And he created a scholarship fund for his town in Sierra Leone, and he lacked in it's in basically there's a lot less fun in Sierra Leone. So how does he get the fun? And he just cannot ask for money from his host parents every year for scholarships to his town students. So what he did was use the best way is GoFundMe. GoFundMe.com helped him raise up to $1,700, and I bet he will raise more. This is what I got um, just in the halfway of the project. So basically, what he did is presented his project to the world. Everyone's you have to show how your community is, how how everything is around, where you're gonna do. This is you can see YES Alumni Sierra Leone, and basically this is how he showed how the world how his project worked, and he got an amazing response. And this is not very far ago. This is like a few months ago. He did this project, and he's planning to do it again. Hope he goes even better than this. And this time, he might even go for the whole world. But so far, let's hope for the best and let's go even beyond, right? So let's move on. And this is how to get the money from the website. Suppose you collected $1,000, few thousands of dollars, but you don't know how to get it because it's basically your money is virtual right now. This is the amount you're seeing in the web screen. And let's say something. If you have reached this part of your project, you should give it a high five. So self high five, all right? So basically, what if you how to get the money from the website in your hand? Well, let me explain you how you get it. You need a bank account. It's a must. Well, a bank account which has international transactions. In my country, there's two types of bank. There's a local bank and an international bank. A local bank only gives you money transfers in your own country. You cannot use that in this project. You need to make sure your bank has an international transaction, or else this will never work, right? So you connect when you in GoFundMe, you have to connect an American account because it's an American website, right? So you can ask your host parent or your friend or really a teacher or your principal, someone you trust enough to handle that much money. Do not give it to strangers. Do not give it to someone you met last night or someone you know is suspicious. Do not give it to them. I'm pretty sure your host parent, your friend, teachers are the best people to contact. So, but remember, this is a big deal to handle, right? Because you can't just tell them, "I want to do this, let's do it." So basically, you want to ask permission, be nice to them, do not force it on them, right? So basically, if you have a friend or a family member, tell them nicely that I want to make an online crowdfunding. I'm going to use your account. So when they connect GoFundMe to your host parent or your friend's account, this is where the people are going to donate. And when they get the money, they will wire transfer to your international account. I'm going to repeat. So when the money goes to your host family or your friend has to transact that money from their account to your country's account. So where I lived was Bangladesh, and my friend OG, his host parent transferred it to our account, which was in Bangladesh. And there is going to be some transaction money, so you have to be careful. So you have to know the whole banking process. All right, you just don't want to open it today and be like, after getting a lot of funds, you don't know how to get it. So you have to be ready with your accounts and everything. All right. So let's say what's next? From direct transfer to your account from IndieGoGo. IndieGoGo doesn't have to be American website. It can be they transfer. You can have your own direct website bank account connected to it, but there's a catch. Since IndieGoGo is also a American website, but it's not only American. It has places all over the world. I'm sorry about that. We had a power outage right now, and I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys can hear me, right? So, so sorry about this. We in our country we have sudden power outs, and it's not like America right now. So I'm so sorry about this. So I hope we can continue here. And all right. So I hope I was explaining about IndieGoGo. So when you wire transfer it, they're gonna charge $25. So when you that's a huge amount compared to IndieGoGo, because compared to GoFundMe, you have to be careful about IndieGoGo. So if you don't want to use IndieGoGo and you want to use GoFundMe, make sure you have a American bank account, or else there's going to be a large amount of not large, more than GoFundMe, 8% of the total money is going to be cut by the IndieGoGo, since it's an international, they're transferring the money internationally to your account. So to have make sure how we should do that. All right, let's continue next. You have to be sure to. There's a lot of questions and mistakes you should avoid, because uh, you want to make sure that you don't want to forget your donors and everyone. So basically, let's see what mistakes you should avoid, right? So suppose your target is $1,000 or $800 maybe, but you don't want to give exactly $800 right now, right? So you want to give it $1,000, or if you have a $1,000 target, try to raise $1,200. So don't put an impossible amount like $5,000 or $6,000, right? So that's because if you need $1,000, and if you show it to the people I need $5,000, that's not going to make sense. They're going to ask you, why do you need 5,000? They're trying to steal my money. This is a very conception that you have to always keep in mind. Don't make it unrealistic, but don't make it minimalistic. Don't make it very less, or keep always be in the middle, right? So some crowdfunding sites will allow you to access the donation if you only reach the goal. So that gives the donors idea, like trust, that if this person doesn't reach $1,000, he's not going to use my money. I'm going to get my money back. So that he's not going to steal from my money, right? So make sure this is your idea target is presentable, not too much, not too less, in the middle. That's the whole point you should always remember. And other things to keep in mind: never ever forget your donors. They're the reason your project got a kickstart, the reason you're able to do this thing. So make sure you never forget them. And second thing is, make sure your bank has international transactions. You really don't want to be disappointed after, I don't know, 4 months of work, and then you realize that you can't use the money because your bank is not equipped enough. So your bank, your dad, your mom, or your own personal account has to have international transactions. And also know your legal ways of transfer, because different countries have different laws. Like my country, if you want to transfer more than $5,000, you need to make sure you let the authorities know that why you're transferring it. So you have to give the police or the bank information that this is your crowdfunding. You did it with GoFundMe.com. This is how you're going to use it, so that there's no question of legal work, right? And lastly, do not bring a large sum of money, like say 5,000 or 3,000, $4,000 with by hand. Like don't tell your friend or someone, a family member living in the U.S., to bring their money in his hand, because a lot of passport, like in Bangladesh, a Bangladeshi passport doesn't allow you to take more than $1,000 in cash by hand. That is highly illegal. So know your legal limits. You don't want to get caught by the authorities, and all your dreams can just shatter because you didn't follow our rules. Because there are rules you need to follow, and make sure you don't go beyond and do this mistake. So the way how we brought the money was international transaction, and we gave the bank some proof that this is the money we're doing for, and there was no problem at all. So we know how we give our legal proof. We showed them there's no problem, and that's how there was no problem. And avoid bringing your money by hand, but if you have to, make sure you know how to bring it, and make sure your country allows it. So so after this, don't forget your group. The most important part of your project is your group. Your YES alumni, out of YES alumni, you can see this is our group. This is our Bangladeshi group. This you can see Bill, Sadi, and DB. And we're really cool people, and we always love to do this work. So never forget. Let me finish with one thing. Three things to remember. Always have your international transaction. Make sure your bank has it. Know your legal limits. No, never forget the fact that there is a legal way to do this. Never go out of it. And thirdly, there no almost always remember your donors. And this so far I have explained to you about two websites, that is IndieGoGo and IndieGoGo.com and GoFundMe.com. And there's another one called Kickstarter.com. That is a bit new website, but it's a very highly effective one too. So basically, in Kickstarter, you can use it globally, but there's a catch too, that you have to like have to know what your answer is, that right. So Kickstarter.com, it's a new website where you can open your project anywhere you want, but the problem is they have a bit high transaction money, but compared to their services, I'm pretty sure this is better than that. And Kickstarter has also a very good facility about transactions. It's a very fast transaction. There's less problems, but the only problem is they charge a bit high amount of money from your, like suppose you have $44,000, you're gonna charge a bit more than Indiegogo, which was $20. For Indiegogo, it was $25, and Kickstarter is gonna charge you like $40. That's the only thing difference between others. But Kickstarter service is even, it's really fresh, it's really good, and everything is very fast. The transaction, their responses, any help you're stuck, you need any help. Kickstarter has that facility. So it has a high and low stuff, but if you want to do your project really fast, Kickstarter is a good idea. If you have time, if you have good connection in US, use GoFundMe.com. And if you have a lot of time and you're willing to do a full worldwide project, and I would advise you IndieGoGo.com. There's even movie stars in the world. Remember the Hulk? Use IndieGoGo.com to raise over $10,000 for helping Bangladesh in one of our crises regarding our our seas. So this is really cool. If you have a lot of time, use IndieGoGo. If you have a bit time, but you don't want any trouble, or you want less transactions, GoFundMe.com. If you want a smooth process, fast transaction, and fast crowdfunding, use Kickstarter. But remember, it has a high transaction charge. I hope that answered a lot of projects. And if you have reached a point where you have collected your funds, now voila, you have reached your target, and now it's time to make your project wait for it, legendary. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, I would love to answer it now.
Samiur, thank you so much. I think that really gave us a lot of great information to be thinking about, and I hope that if anybody has any questions, they write them in the chat box now. One question that was asked earlier, one of the participants said that they have a lot of GoFundMe project proposals already in their country, and people are always asking for donations. So what can they do to make their campaign stand out? And maybe if you could give more advice about who their target group should be, I think that would be a great place to start.
Well, that's a really good question. Go well if you have a lot of people doing their own projects in GoFundMe. The best way to start out is I think you should invest a little bit of money in your project to make good videos. Uh, because so far, what we in our project, what made it stand out of other projects was our video, because we showed it not only in our crowdfunding website, we even showed it to other social media. We even we could show it to a TV for a few seconds, and a lot of people contacted us. They're like, "I saw this here. It's really cool." I'm like, "Okay, you can check out our website. You can donate us here." We even uploaded in our YouTube. So what makes your project stand out is how much you have spread your project to the people. So you have to be creative, because I cannot tell you to do this and this, because in your country maybe this is not how it works. Maybe if you're in a country where internet is not the greatest virtue, like right now you don't have internet, how do you do it? Newspaper, best way to do it. Your school, you spread the word out. The whole point is to know how to spread the idea. Because if you know how to spread the idea, but with a video, or you can, if your dad is a journalist or your friend is a journalist, you can help spread your idea. You definitely, your project is gonna spread out and stand out in the crowd. That's how you remember one thing: make your project look good, and think how you can make it go social, how it can go big. If
Thanks. I think that's true. You can't really say one thing across the board because different aspects will work for different countries. So I think maybe a good point to take from Samur's answer is to do some research about your country and how people are most connected and what people pay attention to and what draws them in. I think that's really good advice. And in terms of what target group that you should, or like what group you should target when you're doing your social media or when you're trying to advertise your campaign, I think that also is going to depend on um, your project. So if you're targeting, if you're going to try to do a project to get school books to children, you might want to target adults or teachers or principals and things like that. Are there any other questions? If so, please write them in the chat box. We have a few more minutes for questions. Samir, while we wait for others to write their questions, I actually have one for you. I know that you said that one of the really important things is to keep in touch with your funders, and I'm wondering how you did that, what medium you used, and how often you contacted them afterwards with updates.
Sure. Well, how we connected with the donor was initially we used our Facebook and email. This is how we connected with everyone, email and Facebook. And so what we did is, we understood that if you want to connect, if you want to know, you have to make sure how you connect at the first has to connect at the last too. So basically, if you what how we did it to connect to the people was we email them every month. Or if we did something big with the money, we always used to tell them we did this. Email it to them, because you cannot post it every time, right? If you cannot post a letter mail every month, or maybe you don't know if they get any response, or and basically it's a easier and more economical way is to email them. And another way is to, the Facebook page or the Twitter page you connect everyone to. This can you don't have to email everyone here. Your donors that are in the group, in the page. So basically, you post information with a picture or a video, what you did with their money, so that in one platform everyone can see it. But this is like one post for everyone. If you want to connect them even better, you email to them. Now this depends on you. Suppose you have 10,000 donors. That's a huge crowd, right? So you cannot just post letter to 10,000 people by physically post 10,000 letters. This is going to cost you a bit money too. So best way is to write an email, and the same platform, the idea, you can give them names if you want, if you can, and like dear, suppose you send it to Bethany, right? Dear Bethany, we did this stuff. This is a project. You can see a link. This is how we did it, and you can send it to one mail to everyone, or you can post in the Facebook or Twitter. You can post something like, "Here you go. This is what we did. Have a look." This is the most economical and the fastest.
Thanks. I think that was a really great tip. I think we have time for one more question. So if you have anything else that you would like to know about crowdfunding, you can write it in the chat box. And I'm going to take a minute to kind of go off of what Samiur just said and remind everyone that if you do a crowdfunding project, we would love to highlight it on the YES website. So you can always send us your story and we can post it on the website, and that can help spread the word in other ways as well to a wider audience. So we definitely want to make sure that we support you and your projects, and would love to be updated on what you're doing. So take advantage of being a YES alumni and take advantage of that network that we have. If there aren't any more questions, then I will stop the recording now, but I definitely encourage you to continue taking the polls before you leave the webinar, and you can also continue chatting. Thanks so much for joining us today, and thank you so much, Samiur, for sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it.